in Lisbon, Portugal. We are so excited to share the opportunities that USAC offers for summer, semester, and year-long study in one of Europe's most affordable capital cities. We have lots of information to share with you today, so we're going to go ahead and jump in to get started. So here's an outline of what to expect from the session today. We'll start with some introductions, then we'll talk about the location of the program, both in terms of Europe and in terms of the city of Lisbon itself. We're going to share information about what it's like to live in Lisbon, and then we'll jump into some program-specific details like the host university that we partner with in Lisbon, Universidade Católica Portuguesa, or UCP for short. You'll have to forgive my Portuguese. I know basically none, so forgive my pronunciations if you do know Portuguese. We'll talk about what to expect from academics and what courses are offered. We'll talk about what housing is like on site. We'll talk about immersion opportunities and ways that you can engage with the local culture. And then we'll wrap it up with other need-to-know information like climate, the visa process, and cuisine before we summarize program highlights and then open it up for questions at the end. Now, if you do have questions throughout the presentation, you can either save them for the end or you can drop them in the chat, and our colleague Charles will be monitoring and answering those or saving them to the end if they're best for us to answer. All right, sound like a plan? Let's get started. So first, I'd like to introduce the speakers for today's session. My name is Alyssa Qualheim. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a program coordinator at USAC. So that means I work really closely with our partner universities abroad to plan for future terms and to make sure that the information we're sharing with students is as accurate as possible in terms of a range of topics like flights and course registration, housing, and field trips. And I work exclusively with our European partnership programs. So those span England, Ireland, the Netherlands, Portugal, Scotland, and Sweden. I studied abroad twice when I was in college, once for a semester to Wales, UK, and then once for a 2-month program in Rome, Italy. And I'd also like to introduce my co-presenter for today, Dominique Nelson. So Dominique, I'll hand it over to you.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Dominique. My pronouns are they, them. I had the pleasure of studying abroad twice with USAC during my undergrad. I did a semester in Australia and a semester in Pau, France.
So while Dominique and I are the ones presenting today, there is an entire team at USAC who is focused on helping students along on their study abroad journeys. So this program team includes an enrollment specialist who will walk you through the USAC application and admissions process. That's Kat, pictured on this screen. There's also a student accounting specialist who can help you understand payment options and deadlines. That's Joe, who's pictured on this screen as well. And then, of course, a program advisor, Dominique, who will work with you in both group and one-on-one sessions to address any questions that you have or issues that pop up pre-departure. And then a program coordinator, me. So Dominique and I work really closely on that information I was talking about earlier, on an entire range of topics to help you prepare before you depart for Portugal. And here at USAC, we also have staff members who are dedicated to different topics as you prepare for study abroad and while you're abroad as well. So we have staff who are devoted to scholarship opportunities, health and safety, alumni relations, and more. So when you study abroad with USAC, remember that you're supported in a variety of ways by an entire team of people and at all stages of your study abroad journey. So next, I'll turn it over to Dominique to discuss the location of USAC's Lisbon program.
Thanks, Alyssa. Well, Lisbon is the capital city of Portugal. About a quarter of Portuguese live in Lisbon, so it's a major city, but it's also very navigable. It's located on the Iberian Peninsula in Southwest Europe. You can see our little tag there in the map. It's about 250 miles from Sevilla, about 360 from Gibraltar, and almost 400 from Madrid. But it's well located, very easy to travel from Lisbon to other places, and sometimes even get cheap flights from like New York or Chicago to Lisbon, so yay. Now, like I mentioned, Lisbon is a major city, but all of the students' needs is within a 5-mile radius. That's pretty close. I mean, I can't even say that about my hometown. So their program housing, the campus, even the airport, and Central Lisbon, all within that 5-mile loop. So students don't have to worry about not having a car, which is something kind of foreign for us Americans. And also the host university provides a metro pass, which is amazing. So students will get one when they get there, and they'll learn how to use the metro and all the public transportation. It's very exciting. Okay.
Great, thank you, Destiny.
Yeah.
As with
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, it's all right. With this slide, we wanted to dive in a little bit deeper into the host city itself, Lisbon, or as you can see on the slide, Lisboa in Portuguese, which is the official language. If any of you have visited Lisbon before, go ahead and there should be a react button on your screen. Give me a thumbs up just so I can see if anybody has been there before. Any other thumbs up? All right, so this is a new location for a lot of people. That's great. I myself have never been to Lisbon before, but I've only heard great things, and it's definitely on my bucket list. So what is it like to live in Lisbon? Well, Lisbon is actually one of the oldest cities in the world, which I didn't know before I started working with this program. According to historians, it was established by pre-Celtic tribes in 1200 BCE, and that makes it the second oldest European capital city after Athens. And throughout its history, Lisbon has been associated with several key historic groups. Many of them you've probably heard of, maybe in passing in some of your history classes, starting with the pre-Celtic tribes that I mentioned, then the Phoenicians, then the Roman Empire, then the Germanic tribes in the 5th century, followed by the Moors in the 8th century. And Lisbon became the official capital of Portugal in 1255 and has grown to a population of 550,000 people just within its administrative limits. Within the greater Lisbon metropolitan area, there's 2.9 million people residing there, which, as Dominique mentioned, that's more than 25% of the entire country's population. So it's a major European city. And it's actually considered to be an alpha level global city, which means it's a major economic center in Europe. It plays a key role in several really important sectors like finance, commerce, fashion and media, entertainment, the arts, international trade, education, and of course, tourism. And it also serves as the headquarters for several multinational corporations. So that makes it a great place to study international business, of course, among other things as well. And the city itself has been built on 7 hills, so it's often considered to be rather similar to San Francisco. It's rather hilly, it's coastal, it has a mild climate, and is very well known for its iconic colorful trams, which definitely gives off San Francisco vibes. And there's tons to do in Lisbon, something for everyone. Lots of museums, beautiful architecture that actually spans across several different periods. It has gardens and squares, public green spaces. There are festivals and events hosted year-round, and lots of unique, vibrant neighborhoods to explore, each with their own character and flair. And as we saw on the previous slide, hopefully you noticed, Lisbon is actually situated on the water. In fact, it's located where the Tagus River meets the Atlantic Ocean. For those who maybe aren't as familiar with European geography, the Tagus River is the longest river in the Iberian Peninsula. And it originates in Mideastern Spain and flows over 600 miles to Lisbon, where it then empties into the Atlantic Ocean. And it has a really significant impact on Lisbon's landscape as well. So it's not only characterized by that urban development that I talked about previously, but also by nature reserves and sandy beaches and coastal scenery. So it's a great location for outdoor enthusiasts as well. And if you only remember one thing from this slide, it's the red font here. So how affordable it is to live in Lisbon. In fact, it's one of Europe's most affordable capital cities. So you'll have access to all the great things that European capital cities offer, like that beautiful architecture I was talking about, and a whole range of cultural experiences, really important historic monuments and landmarks, nightlife, cuisine, all of that and more, but with a much more affordable cost of living than other capital cities across the continent. So definitely a key highlight of this program. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Dominique.
Thank you. But just don't take it from us. Here are some quotes directly from previous students. I'd like to read a couple. I would recommend everyone visit Lisbon in their life. I was able to enjoy, explore, travel, and learn from the Portuguese. I loved it. I loved my school and felt I had a very comprehensive set of courses to choose from. It was a fantastic experience. I made friends and lived through experiences I will remember forever.
Awesome. What a great testament to the program. So we've talked about location and what makes Lisbon so great, but now let's turn our attention to the program itself, starting with the host university. And to start off, I'd like to show a brief video that I think really highlights some great spaces on campus and in the city and some wonderful student experiences. So hopefully this will give you a visual as we continue to discuss the program on the next few slides.
Bem-vindos ao Summer Gathering da Católica Lisbon.
Awesome. I love those visuals. It's a good feeling. So as a USAC student, you would be taking classes at Universidade Católica Portuguesa, and you would be embedded in campus life there with access to all the facilities and services and resources that are also available to local degree-seeking students, but with extra support from both USAC staff in the US and UCP's Global Education Office, or GEO. So let's talk a bit about the host university. In English, it's the Catholic University of Portugal, or commonly shortened to just Católica or UCP. And UCP has a student population of around 13,000 students. More than 2,000 of those are international students from over 100 different countries. The institution was founded in 1967 and has since grown to include 4 campuses. Lisbon, which is the main campus where USAC students attend their classes. There's also 3 campuses in other cities in Portugal. And then an affiliated campus is located in Macau, East Asia. So the university is certainly growing. And it's one of Portugal's best. It's currently among the country's top-ranked private universities, and it's really renowned as a leading research institution. Its School of Business and Economics has also earned a very prestigious global accreditation, the AACSB accreditation, which means it's actually recognized as being among the top 6% of business schools worldwide. So you're definitely getting a high quality academic experience when you choose this program, and we'll talk a bit more about academics on the next couple slides. Something else to highlight is that there are several ways to get involved on campus, including student organized clubs and sports teams. These are a great way to meet local students while pursuing your own interests or maybe even discovering a new one. And one opportunity that we especially want to highlight is the Friend for You program, which pairs local students with international visiting students to ensure they have a local buddy who can help them adjust to campus life and get acclimated to their new surroundings, and of course, answer any practical questions they have about being a student in Lisbon. So that buddy program is a really great opportunity to immerse yourself on campus. And lastly, the academic calendar fits really well with the US calendar, which isn't always the case at universities around the world. So teaching in the autumn or fall term runs from early September to mid or late December, with a special exam period for visiting students that ends just before Christmas. And then the spring term is often a bit longer, spanning from early February to late May with a spring break built in. And the summer term is early June to late June, which leaves plenty of time afterwards for any other summer plans you might have, like a vacation or an internship, a job, or maybe just recharging before the next semester starts at your home university. And as I mentioned, we're going to jump a little bit more into academics, so I'll turn it back over to Dominique.
Thanks, Alyssa. So we've talked about how highly ranked their business program is, but it's important to note that there are more than 100 courses available in a wide range of academic disciplines, which are listed on this slide. There are courses in advertising, business communication, finance, globalization, cultural studies, international relations, entrepreneurship, language, law, leadership, marketing, media, etc. So all in all, it's a great fit for a wide range of majors. And just in case you're curious, USAC students are able to take courses across disciplines. So some may decide to take all major-related courses. Some may take all elective courses or a mixture of both. You can work with your academic advisor to really customize your class schedule to make sure you're earning credit that will apply towards your degree requirements, whatever those may be. And because I find it interesting, I wanted to share some of the most popular courses at the host university for our USAC students. Ready to hear some of the fascinating titles? All right. Portuguese film is the most popular course amongst our USAC students currently. Portuguese culture and society, fundamental issues of European integration, Portuguese contemporary history, culture and globalization, politics and development of contemporary Portugal, and cities and urban cultures are some of the most popular courses, but the list goes on. And you can tell from these titles that they are taught from the perspective that you won't see from your home university. You get the Portuguese perspective. What a better place to learn about Portuguese culture and history, European integration, and urban culture in Portugal itself. And beyond these most popular ones, it's great to see students taking a wide range of classes while studying at UCP. In a report we pulled from the last 2 years, USAC students have taken close to 40 different classes from the host university. So there is something for nearly everyone. Back to you, Alyssa.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit more about what to expect from the academic experience at UCP. There are 2 faculties that students can choose courses from: the Faculty of Human Sciences, which is abbreviated as FCH, and the Católica Lisbon School of Business and Economics, which is abbreviated as CLSBE. They use a lot of abbreviations in the Portuguese higher education system. But please note that students are actually enrolled primarily as Faculty of Human Sciences students, so they must take at least half of their courses from Human Sciences. If you are interested in taking business or additional economics classes, you'll only be allowed to take a maximum of 2. And that's new. That's very new. Spring 2024, this current semester is the first semester that we were able to expand our curriculum to include School of Business and Economics. So it's definitely growing, and we're excited for that. There's a curated course listing for USAC students that we provide access to when you apply. This ensures that the classes that you're picking from are suitable for visiting students, and of course that they're taught in English, except for those foreign language courses. There's also detailed syllabi available for home university pre-approval, so you can make sure before you do your course selections with the host university that they're going to fit the requirements that you're looking for, whether that be major, minor, or elective credit. For semester enrollment, the typical enrollment ranges from 24 to 30 ECTS credits. The ECTS credits, that's the credit system that they use in Europe. So translating that into US credits, that's typically 12 to 15, which means our semester students are normally taking about 4 to 5 courses total. And for summer enrollment, there are actually 2 different academic credit options. So you can choose to take either one course for 6 ECTS credits, or you can pay a higher USAC program fee and take 2 courses for a total of 12 ECTS credits, which is equal to approximately 6 US credits over the summer. So it depends on how much credit you'd like to earn during the program. This gives you some options to consider depending on what's most important to you, whether that's affordability, keeping that program fee low, or the number of credits that you can earn over the summer. And the academic system in Portugal tends to be a little bit more formal than we're used to in the US. There may be more rules related to classroom behavior than you're used to, like no chewing gum, no putting your feet up on the chair in front of you. There are also typically fewer assignments and assessments throughout the semester than in the US. So depending on your classes, you may only have like one midterm exam or paper followed by a final exam or assessment at the end of the semester. So it's really important for students to keep up with the weekly readings and hold themselves accountable because the semester does tend to fly by faster than they expect. And you'll be expected to engage in some independent study outside of the lectures, since there won't be as many of those small, regular assignments and assessments that you might be used to in the US. And the registration process happens shortly before arrival, but as timetables are subject to change, especially in the European education system, when the timetable is often finalized much closer to the start of the semester than we're used to, it's important to be flexible with your course selections and to have some alternatives ready that you've already pre-approved with your home university academic advisor. And before we move on to some other exciting program aspects like housing and field trips, I know those are all fun topics to talk about. I did want to pause briefly to just highlight our summer program since our application deadline is this Friday, March 1st. The summer program is a great opportunity for short-term study in Lisbon, and the program runs from June 1st to June 29th. There are 4 courses to pick from: elementary Portuguese, intermediate Portuguese, brand communication, and the EU and Portugal, institutions, policy, and historical landmarks. Now, summer courses at UCP tend to be very interactive. Many of them include excursions and site visits to really complement the content that you're learning in lectures and class discussions. For example, in the EU and Portugal class, students visit the site of the official signing ceremony that served as a really key point in Portugal's history of joining the EU. And in another example, in the brand communication class, students are exposed to real-life examples of effective brand communication. Those are presented by members of various organizations and companies themselves. So you get some firsthand accounts there, which is really great. And as I mentioned, the program fee will depend on how many courses you take. You can choose between 1 or 2 courses across the June session. And regardless of the fee, it's very inclusive. I've listed on here what it includes. It covers tuition, housing, which we'll cover on the very next slide. It includes 2 field trips coordinated by the host university. It also includes an orientation program and welcome events, airport pickup on the official arrival day and within a designated arrival window, and of course, on-site support provided by our partners in the Global Education Office at UCP. So as I mentioned, time is running out to apply for this really great experience this summer. Our summer 2024 application will close on Friday, March 1st. So be sure to start your USAC application if you haven't already. To get started, you can actually scan the QR code on your screen, or you can just head to usac.edu and click the Apply Now button near the top. So now to talk about housing, I'll hand it back to Dominique.
Thank you. As Alyssa mentioned, the cost of housing is included in the program fee, both for the summer sessions and semesters. It's a little bit different than some of our other programs. Housing is off campus, but as mentioned previously, it's within that 5-mile radius, so very easy to get there. Students will get a private bedroom and bathroom ensuite in the apartment in a student residence hall. So all residents in that building are students, which presents a great opportunity to immerse themselves with locals even outside of class. The residence halls has study rooms, laundry facilities, a garden for relaxing, a gym, includes utilities, linens, Wi-Fi, 24/7 security. They have an app and a media room, so like a living room type place where people can enjoy TV, socialize. Grocery store, restaurants, cafes, and hospitals, and anything that a student might need are all within a 5-minute walk. So not only is it close to campus, but close to everything you need. Commute to campus takes about 20 minutes by walking and metro. It's a short walk to the metro stop. I think it's one stop on the metro and then a short walk from there. So it's convenient. It's a great place to live.
So not only will you have the opportunity to focus on your academic learning when you study abroad in Lisbon, you'll also have plenty of opportunities for cultural learning as well. And this slide really highlights those cultural immersion opportunities, which is probably at least one of the reasons why you're interested in studying abroad in the first place. So first, on the left-hand side are opportunities that are hosted by UCP, some of which are designed specifically for USAC students. So the program starts with a series of orientation and welcome events, which include sessions designed to help you adjust to life in Lisbon, both in terms of daily living and in terms of campus life. Like what are the academic expectations, learning where services and resources are located on campus, tips to succeed in your classes, and more. The Global Education Office at UCP also hosts welcome and farewell meals for USAC students, so you can get to know your cohort a little bit more. And there are a series of campus events which are hosted for all students, not just USAC students, that you can attend as you'll be a visiting student at UCP. We already talked a bit about student organizations and sports clubs on a previous slide, but I just want to reiterate that that's such a great way to immerse yourself into campus life, meet local and international students, and pursue your interests all at the same time. When I studied abroad in Wales, I joined a couple of student organizations, and it was one of my favorite parts of the entire experience just because of how I was able to immerse myself as a student. And of course, the Friend for You Buddy program. Again, this is an incredibly helpful resource, a great immersion opportunity, and we always encourage all USAC students to participate. And finally, UCP hosts 2 field trips per term for USAC students. This allows students to travel as a group with the extra support of UCP staff to various locations across Portugal. Destinations are subject to change, but previous field trips have taken place in the Alentejo region of Portugal, which is an agricultural region in south central Portugal, which is really known for a lot of different products like cheeses, wines, smoked meats, and olive oil. Another possible location is Évora, which is a city about 80 miles from Portugal that's really well known for its architectural wonders and Roman ruins. And then Porto, which is the second largest city in Portugal, and it might be perhaps most famous for its key export, port wine. And then on the other hand, the right-hand side, the other part of the slide, we've listed some ideas for local immersion opportunities, so ways that you can engage with the local culture on your own. In the interest of time, I won't read all of these, but rest assured that Lisbon is a very culturally rich city You can listen to live music in the fado style, which is what we were playing at the beginning of the session. You can go onto YouTube and search for fado, and you'll find some great examples until you get there and can listen to it for yourself. You can also taste local cuisine, including the pastel junata, which is a custard tart. You can tour the city's hills from a colorful tram, and of course, so much more. All of these ideas are listed on our website, which we'll share at the end of the session. But as you can see, there's lots of really rich cultural experiences that you can have in Lisbon, and there's something for everyone. So rather than just tell you what it's like to study abroad in Lisbon, I wanted to show you as well. I'm going to show 5 short video clips of different program aspects, again, so you can kind of get a visual of what we've been talking about. So the first one will be a common space at the residence hall. Looks so calming. And then the next one will be an area of campus. And then a typical classroom, there's no students in this, but a typical classroom in the Faculty of Human Sciences building. And the next video will show you kind of out and about in Lisbon, one of those iconic trams that we've been talking about. And then the last one is a panoramic view of Lisbon from a park. And if you're interested in seeing more, you can scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to a TikTok takeover where you can see even more videos of a day in the life in Lisbon. All right, and I'll turn it back to Dominique.
So as you saw in some of those videos and previous pictures, the climate is very Mediterranean, very favorable, mild. Mild is the word I'm looking for. But it still gets warm in the summer, so students should note that air conditioning is not common in Portugal or really across Europe. So sometimes students get surprised to learn this when they get abroad, but you can totally manage without air conditioning. And even if it does get really hot, you can just get a fan. It's pretty easy to get with. While Portugal is not technically a Mediterranean country, it does have all that kind of Mediterranean climate and atmosphere. As you can see there, temperatures are mild. It does rain a little bit in the winter, but students won't expect to get snow, depending on where you're from. That could be a fun change. Typical Portuguese food consists of fish, potatoes, rice are common. You'll also see seafood, pork, vegetables, cheese, rice, and soups or stews. And then, of course, like Alyssa mentioned previously, the pasta de nata, or the custard tart. Sounds delicious. As for visas or immigration, summer students are not required to apply for a visa, so they can just enter on their passport. And semester students do have to apply for a visa in advance, which they'll be guided through the process by our team. And then, of course, as we've mentioned, the big city of Lisbon has so much arts and culture to offer. Museums, music, as pictured here, the azulo tiles, I'm sorry, my pronunciation, all over the city and are really breathtaking to see in person. There's also urban murals, festivals, and of course, football. So lots to do. Here, as we wrap up, I wanted to share a quick few details and, of course, the QR code for you to learn more. So minimum GPA 2.5 overall or cumulative. The terms that we offer are summer, semester, or year. Field trips and housing are included in the program fee. So again, that's a great benefit for students looking at their finances. The summer application deadline is this Friday, and we want you to go. So please apply now. And same with the fall semester. So act now and be in Lisbon soon. Back to you, Alyssa.
So we've shared a lot of information. So we wanted to pull out some key points that we want you to remember. Essentially, why choose Lisbon as your study abroad destination? We know you have lots of choices. So first of all, you'll live in one of Europe's most affordable capital cities, filled with cultural learning opportunities, lots of attractions, landmarks, museums, beautiful architecture, and so much more, but with a more affordable cost of living. Second, courses are offered in English at a top-ranked institution, so you'll be getting a really high-quality academic experience as well. And third, the program is designed with immersion in mind. You can learn a bit of the local language through Portuguese language classes. You can explore different areas of Portugal outside of Lisbon on those program-organized field trips we've been talking about. You can immerse yourself as a local student by joining clubs and organizations. And of course, you can connect with a local Portuguese buddy through the Friend for You program. The program fee is also very inclusive. It includes your tuition, your housing, those program organized field trips, a monthly Metro Pass, and on-site support through our partners at the host university. So this is a great value program. And finally, scholarships are available. USAC offers a really wide range of scholarships to students participating in their programs, and external scholarships are also available through a variety of different organizations. It's important to note that Portuguese is actually considered a critical need language, which opens up additional funding opportunities through the US Department of State. So not only is it a great value program, but additional funding is available to make study abroad opportunities like this one accessible to even more students. So with that, I did want to provide our contact information in case you have questions. Again, Dominique Nelson, the program advisor for our Lisbon programs, and Alyssa Qualheim, the program coordinator. We've also given you a QR code to head to the USAC Lisbon web pages. We have a series of web pages where we talk about all sorts of different topics. Most of the topics that we've talked about here, like the host university and courses and calendars for upcoming programs, deadlines as well. We also list out the fees and have a very interactive budget sheet each term that helps you understand not only how much is the program fee, but also other expenses that you can expect. Because if you haven't lived or been to Lisbon before, it's really hard to know how much it would cost to go get some groceries or what will meals cost me. So the interactive budget sheet is a great tool. It's located on our Lisbon web pages and gives you some resources to help you understand from a holistic perspective how much a program will cost for a given term. So with that, I'll pass it over to Charles to facilitate the Q&A session. Charles, did we have any questions in the chat?
We didn't actually have any roll in, but this would be a great time for folks that if you have a question, you can feel free to put that in the chat. You can put that in the Q&A, whatever your preference would be. Yeah, I'd love to hear from the audience with any questions for our amazing hosts today. First question is it easy to navigate Lisbon without knowing too much Portuguese?
Absolutely. A lot of locals speak English, and you don't have to know Portuguese before you go. It's very easy to get around with minimal language skills. You can also take Portuguese language on the program to improve your getting around language skills.
Next question for you. Are the hills ever too much for students to walk?
Not that we've heard. We hear that they, love the scenic views that they're able to get from, like I mentioned, those iconic trams. Here's a picture. Actually, it's a good one to end on because it is one of those hills, so you can kind of get a feel for what it's like there. But yeah, students tend to love the variety that they get from the landscape. I don't know, Dominique, have you heard anything else directly from students?
I've not heard any complaints about the hills. I assume that the public transportation solves those needs.
Hi, Dominique and Alyssa. For some reason, the chat is not working for me, but thank you so much for such an incredible presentation. I was wondering, and I apologize if you already covered this, how many students per term usually attend?
Great question. So the program is in its newer phases. We're still gathering or increasing interest and enrollment. Students can expect to be in classes with locals and other international students. So they may be in a group with 5 to 15 other USAC students, but in classes full normal class size. And in the summer, they may have other students, other international students in their classes too, from the US, but all other different countries as well.
Thank you so much, Dominique.
Other questions that are out there on folks' minds? Y'all are getting a lot of praise in the chat, so great job, Alyssa. Great job, Dominique.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, if there's no further questions, then I think we can call it a wrap, unless you have something else to add, Dominique.
I just saw a question pop in. Top reasons to choose Lisbon over other cities in the EU. Well, I can list a couple that we mentioned. The affordability, definitely the most affordable or one of the most affordable capital cities in the EU. So that's a good reason. Not having to know the local language, being able to get around with English definitely opens up opportunities to more students. The range of courses, ease of traveling around to see other places, because I know most students who pick Europe to study abroad are also interested in seeing some other places, other countries while they're there. What else, Alyssa?
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of them. I think affordability is key. I think, when students start to think about study abroad, they might not think about some of the other costs that come with study abroad. And then it can sometimes surprise them how much it costs to live, day to day in another place. But as we've mentioned, Lisbon is one of the most affordable capital cities. So you get, all the benefits of living in a big city, but with a more affordable cost of living, which our students love. So I think that's definitely a highlight. And there's also so many cultural experiences to have that we've touched on a little bit. We could do a whole presentation on culture in Portugal. It's so rich and the opportunities are endless. So I think having access and easy access to those with where things are located in terms of the host university and housing, also having the monthly Metro Pass and easy access to traveling locally and going to all of those amazing opportunities is definitely a key highlight. Well, if there are no more questions, always feel free to contact us. We have our contact information. If you don't want to ask a question in this session, but still have something that you'd like to know, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer your questions via email as well, if you'd prefer.
Thanks, everyone. Take it easy and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.